A good night's sleep is essential for people with a sleeping disorder. Sleep apnea is a very serious sleeping disorder that affects 20 million Americans. Out of all the people who snore, almost 10% of people who snore have sleep apnea. The definition of sleep apnea is any period during your sleep in which you stop breathing for more than 10 seconds at a time. That's called a apnea event, when you completely stop breathing for 10 seconds. What sounds like snoring is actually not snoring, it's actually a stoppage in your snoring. When the blockage of air that causes snoring gets complete, it can stop an airflow and create sleep apnea. The older we get, the softer the tissues get in our throats. And the area around our tonsils is where fat appears and stays. These swollen tissues and fat constrict our airways. So when the fat blocks our airways, we stop breathing. And your body actually wakes itself up continuously all night long. It wakes you up without you even consciously knowing it as well. The effects of sleep apnea are that you can never get yourself into a deep sleep because you are constantly waking up at all hours of the night. Thus, your body never gets rejuvenated like it needs when you get into a deep sleep. If you find out you have sleep apnea, it's a good idea that you know some physical damages can occur. During the early stages of sleep apnea, there's no real damage to the body except for low periods of oxygen. And low periods of oxygen actually kill brain cells. So as the condition continues and progresses, sleep apnea can lead to more serious more serious issues, including hypertension and even a heart attack. So another way to detect if you have sleep apnea is to check your neck size. If it's over 17 inches wide, round, you have more than a 50% chance of developing sleep apnea. Another way to check if you have sleep apnea is by talking to your doctor, and you'll have a form for you to fill out called the Epworth Sleepiness Scale. And there's just questions on there, excuse me, there's just questions on there that will lead you to know if you're at risk for sleep apnea. In today's society, we have technology. After you talk to your doctor about sleeping disorder, sleep apnea, he might recommend you to go into a sleep center to do a sleep study. And what they do there is they detect, they basically watch you all night long while you're sleeping. They put 16 points on your body to see if you have sleep apnea, and they check your oxygen saturations and your leg movements and things of that nature. So, if you are, excuse me, if you are at risk for sleep apnea, and the sleep study proves that you do have sleep apnea, then you're gonna need some sort of treatment. And the best treatment out there for sleep apnea is something called a CPAP. And I'll show you what a CPAP machine is. A CPAP machine, CPAP stands for Continuous Positive Airway Pressure. And what this does is it blows air into the mouth through a mask, or to the nose as well. And the patient wears this all night long when they're sleeping. And what it does is blows air. It doesn't blow oxygen. It's not an oxygen machine. It just blows air like a fan at a certain pressure that the doctor prescribes after the sleep study is performed. And what that does is opens the airway so the patient can breathe all night long when they're sleeping. And studies have shown that a CPAP machine definitely improves patients' quality of life. And they have happier days because they're not so irritable and groggy the next day because they didn't get enough sleep and they didn't even know it. This keeps that airway open all night long and allows a full night's sleep. So this is a CPAP. So now we have learned how sleep can affect our lives and the day-to-day tasks we so ambitiously try to achieve. We learned that sleep is hard to get in today's work environment, why sleep should make us feel better physically, emotionally, and mentally, and why sleep is essential for people with a sleeping disorder, such as sleep apnea. Our lives are so busy and stressful that we could all use some time to just sit back and rest. Whether or not you believe you need a full 8 hours of sleep or not, you can assume that sleep is essential for a person's health and well-being. Be as it may, a full 8 hours or 2 or 3 hours here and there, whichever you believe, you should get some rest. At least get some. Let us not take for granted the life that has been given to us, and let's all go get some sleep, shall we? And that's all.